Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this dress. So I'm making it for someone. I'm just going to show you guys how to make it. As you can see, the fabric is already folded into two on top and then folded into two at the bottom. The one at the bottom has 2 inches extra, and that is the front panel because I'm going to be folding it to make the bottom placket. The one on top here is just, the width is just her hip divided by 4. Her hip is the widest part of her body. If the bust is the widest for you, you can use that. So her hip divided by 4 is 12 plus 1 is 13, and that's the width of this here. 1 is the seam allowance, and then the one in front is also folded into 2. You can see it's folded into 2, but it has 2 inches more. So now after that, the next thing I did was to go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead first. I'm going to go and mark her shoulder divided by 2, which is 8. So her shoulder divided by 2 is going to give me 8. I'm going to go ahead and take away 1 from here, 1 inch of shoulder slope. After that, the next line I have here is a chest line, which is basically your bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5. So that's how you're going to get this length here, or you can just do your armhole divided by 2. That's how I got this line here. So after that, I'm going to just rule a straight line down to this point. Same line, I'm going to insert her bust divided by 4, which is going to be 43 divided by 4. I'm going to go ahead and mark that, and then after that I'm going to add 1 inch of seam allowance to it, and then from there come down to the waist divided by 4, mark it, and then I'm going to add 2 inches here, 1 inch of that and 1 inch of seam allowance, because this is just going to be a basic dart. Come down to the hip, divide the hip by 4, whatever you get. So for me, that's going to be 12 plus 1 inch of seam allowance. And then I'm going to come down to the bottom part here. Remember, this is just straight all the way down. I'm going to take away 1 inch from the bottom part here. And that is it. So all I have to do is from this point here, I'm going to connect it here. But you're going to come down at least 1 inch down from this point here. Because if you connect it directly, it's going to be pointy at the hip. So I like to do like 2 inches down from that point. And then I'm going to connect it here. Just like that. Here to this point, and then after that I'm going to connect from here to here. So once it's done, I'm going to give it a curve for the armhole, and then I'm going to go over to the neckline. I'm going to go ahead and mark 3 inches of basic neck width here, and then I'm going to connect the shoulder slope just like this to this 1 inch here, and then I'm going to mark 1 inch of neck depth, and then 3 inches for the front neckline. So 1 inch is for the back, and then 3 inches is going to be for the front. So I'm just going to leave it this way so that I can be able to just go back in and connect it like this. Right, you see the front neck is lower, and then the back neck is higher. So this is 1 inch here for the neck at the back, and then it's 3 inches for the neck in front. So now all I have to do is just to go ahead and cut. I'm going to cut from here all the way down. But before I cut, another thing you're going to do, remember, like I said, is a basic dart. So I'm going to put in my dart. So how you're going to put in your dart is just to go from this center part here. You see the center part here. Remember, I'm starting with the back, so you're going to do the nipple to nipple divided by 2. So for her is going to be 8 divided by 2 is 4. I'm going to do plus half an inch, 4.5. Also go up here and mark the same 4.5. Go down here, also mark the same 4.5. If you notice, all my measurements are starting from here. I'm going to connect it together all the way, just like this. But my dart is going to stop 2 inches before the end, so 2 inches before the hip line, and then half an inch on this side, half an inch on this other side, and then it's going to go all the way to this part here. So connect it, half an inch here, half an inch here. Sorry, this is wide. So this point, and then I'm going to connect it all the way to this point again. This is for the back, right? So but when I go to the front now, my dart is still going to be the same. It's going to stop 2 inches before the hip line, but at the top here is going to stop 1 inch before my nipple line. So all I have to do is in front, I'm just going to measure from my shoulder to nipple line for her, which is going to be at 12. So the dart in front is going to end at 13, 1 inch before. So it's going to end at 13. So the same thing I just drew here, I'm going to replicate it in front, but except the dart is going to stop here. But you can see the back dart went all the way to the top. So let me go ahead and cut this out all the way. And this dart will be done on the 2 sides of the back. I'm going to transfer it here, and then on the 2 sides of the front, transfer it here. And I'm also going to be splitting this center part open, because this here is going to have a button. So it's supposed to be 2 pieces in front, 1 piece at the back. And if you look at the back, you see it's just 1 piece. It's folded into 2. You see, this is on a fold. So, but the difference is that the one in front, I'm going to be splitting the fold open. So let me go ahead and cut off the sides. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and marked the dart on all the layers. So both the 2 sides in front and for the back too. You see my front panel now has 2 sides to it, you see. And if you look at it, you see that I've cut away the 3 inches of neck depth that I spoke about. So another thing I'm going to do is for this front armhole, like I said, the front is the wider one. I'm going to go ahead, go to this armhole and remove about ½ an inch here. This will help my sleeve not to bulk up by the armhole. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this piece off now, because your front armhole is deeper than the back armhole. So this is what I'm working with right now. So now you see 1 inch for the back, 3 inches. I cut away this shoulder slope, cut out the armhole, cut every excess that I have by the side, split open the front. You see. So now I'm going to take away the back panel, and I'm going to show you guys how you're going to do this. So what you're going to do is this piece, that extra 2 inches we have by this center part, what I'm just fold ½ an inch away, and then I'm going to fold it again by 1 inch. And then I'm going to just stitch it down all the way to the end. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. This way I'll be forming my placket for the center. You understand? So you see the center looks just like this. It looks like this. So all I have to do is I'm going to first hold it this way, fold away ½ an inch, and then tuck in a whole 1 inch in. Let me do it on an open side. So you're going to take it the way it is now. Go to your sewing machine, fold ½ an inch first, and then fold a whole 1 inch wider in like this, and then stitch it all the way down. Do it on the other side. Then the 2 of them will overlap each other. That way it will be forming your, one side is forming the button and one side is going to be for the buttonhole. And then after that, you're going to go ahead and pick your darts on each side, and then join the shoulder of the back to the front. So this is my back panel. Let me open it up now. So all I have to do is just to sew it, join the shoulder to the shoulder here, and then also join the shoulder on this other side too. So you see, join the 2 shoulders together. So I'm going to go ahead, pick my dart and do that. What I have here, so I've gone ahead and folded the center part so that I can make my button, the placket for the button. And then I've added my darts on all the 4 layers. You see 2 darts on this side, and then darts also on this other side, just like this. So let me show you guys what I did. So after that, I just folded this way. I will still open it up so you see how I folded it, but I just wanted to show you that you're going to go ahead and measure from your shoulder to your hip line. So from the shoulder to hip line for her is going to be at 25.5. So what I did here is to go ahead and mark 2.5 in from here, or you can do, a bigger person can do like 3 inches, a smaller person can do 2 inches or 2.5. And then that is going to be the line for my pocket. You see, this line here is the shoulder to the 25.5, which is her hip line. And then this other line going in here is the line for 2.5 distance from the center after the line of my pocket, or not from the end of my pocket, right? From the end of my pocket, sorry, not end of my pocket, from the end of this cloth here, it's about 3.5 all the way. Right, if you want, you can use that to measure 3.5. What I was saying before was from the line that I sewed here. You see this stitch going down here, 2.5 in, because remember when the other side overlaps each other on this button part, because one of the other side is still going to overlap to create the button and the buttonhole, right? So what is going to matter is the distance between the end of this seam to this point, not really from the end of this part, because this part is going inside of your clothes and the other one is going to be overlapping on the other side. So that's why I was using this center part to measure. So once you've done that, the next thing you're going to do is to get your pocket, which is this one here. Initially I started out with about 8.5. I folded the upper part here, the upper part here. The length I started out with initially was about 8.5. I folded the upper part with at least 2 inches or so that I can make the pocket. The width here is about 6 inches or 6.5. So now what I'm going to do is to take it this way, go over here. You see how I placed it? This is for me to be able to get the perfect square, this angle going down like this. I'm going to tuck in 1/2 inch on this side, sew it down, 1/2 inch on this side, sew it down. You can even iron it before you place it on this. You can just iron all these edges out, that way it will be easier. And then also fold this bottom part, and then you're going to make your stitch half all the way like this, crossover, crossover, just like that. And then for the part that is going to cover it, what I have here is just a fabric that I folded into 2. Let me open it up so you see. So it's just like the same straight fabric, right? But all I did here was that, you see, it's straight like this, but it's just like folded it into 2 and sewed the end here, sewed the end here. Like what I mean is that it's straight like this. All I had to do is just to fold it into 2, close up here, close up here. That's what this end here is on a fold. If you look at it, you'll see. So basically the width of this one here, sorry, the like if I open it up here now, the length from this point here all the way to this point here is about 6 inches, because I want it to be 3 inches when folded into 2. So it's 3 inches now on a fold, right? But if I open it up, it's 6 inches in total. And then the width I have here is the same width that I'm using here, because I'm going to still use 1/2 inch here to close up here, 1/2 inch to close up here. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn it right back so that you see. You see what it looks like now. So once you've completed this part of the pocket using 1/2 inch to close up here, what you're going to do is on this line that you marked from your shoulder to that point, your hip, you're going to place this at the end there, sew it down. Once you sew it down, close it again and then top stitch it. That's how you're going to do it. So now let me turn it over so you can see the one that we've already done. So you see what I did here? I just folded this way. Let me remove it so you can see. You see, this is what we are working with on this other side here. This is it here. So this is the one I've done. You see, is on the hip line here. You see, I top stitched it once it was done. This is the pocket part here. If you feel like this cover here is too long, you can decide to do 2.5 inch of length here. That means you're going to fold 5 inches fabric, so that one you're going to have 2.5 length here, 2.5 length here, and then you're going to use 1/2 inch to join it to the body of the clothes. Like I said, how you're going to join it is first place it straight, sew down, and then once you sew down, overlap it, top stitch it. That's the way to do it. So I'm going to do it on the other side, and then we'll come back, finish up the pocket and the collar. Then I've also added the pocket on this other side, and this is just the dress right now. So if I open it up, I just folded it so that you could see the 2 sides. So you see it's coming together. So all we need now is just the 2 sleeves and the neckline. So now what I'm going to do, let me show you what the pocket looks like. So you see, and then you just put your hand in here. So now I'm going to set this aside. For the armhole now, all you need to do is you can go ahead and measure what you have as your armhole, like from the beginning here to the curve, and then you're going to get a paper that is the same width as that. So whatever you have, measure that width. So you see mine, this is folded into 2. The 2 of them are folded into 2. You can use any paper, newspaper, any paper, just fold it into 2. You see this is folded into 2, this is also folded into 2 for the 2 sleeves, right? And the width I have here is just whatever you got as the measurement of the armhole placed on the side here. So the next thing I did was to come down here 4 inches, right, for the cap height, and then after that I drew a straight line on that 4 inches. If you look closely, you will see that straight line here. Let me mark it again so you can see. So this is the line for it here. 4 inches from the top to this part here. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to measure from this point here, just mark a straight line from this angle here, just like how we do our normal sleeve. And then I'm going to find halfway through that. I'm going to go ahead, give it a curve above. If you want, you can use your curve ruler, give it a curve from this point here to halfway, and then the other curve is going to be below like this. So let me go ahead and give it my own curve here. So guys, this is my sleeve here. You see the curve above here and then the curve below here on this straight line here, halfway through here, right? Just our normal sleeve. The next thing I'm going to do is to measure the width of my sleeve, whatever I want it to be. So whatever the armhole my sleeve width is, I added 1 inch to it because I don't want it too tight on me. So divided by 2 plus 1, so let's say that is 8, and then plus 1 inch extra. I'm going to connect from this point here to this point here. So after that, the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and cut. So you see the line. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this whole thing off. So guys, you see, basically you cut off this end, cut off this part and here. So we have our sleeve. And like I told you before, this is on a fold. If I remove my pin now and open it up, I have for 2 sleeves here. You see, 1 sleeve and then the second sleeve. So what I have to do now is just to go ahead, open this up like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and rule my lines, right? You can do 1 inch in between and then 1 inch across. You understand? So like, let's say I'm going to just start from this end here and keep marking 1 inch here, 1 inch here, because this is where you can do 1.5, guys. You don't want it too packed together. So I think 1.5 would be okay. So 1.5, 1.5, move again, 1.5 here, and then another 1.5, just like that. Another 1.5. You keep doing it all the way to the end. Once you're done, go again across like this, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, all the way to the end. The length I have here is exactly what I want my sleeve to be, right? Plus just half an inch for the upper part. Maybe whatever you want your sleeve to be, plus 1 inch, because you're going to use half an inch here to join the upper part of it, and then half an inch at the bottom part here is going to enter into the bottom because we're going to use this here to complete the sleeve. You understand? So we are going to be matting it. So what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and rule mine 1.5 across, and then I'll bring it back so you guys can see. You see the one I've done so far, you see? So this is what it looks like. So basically I have this here that it's about 1.5 or almost, yeah, 1.5. If you look at it, you see that I later reduced the spacing for mine to 1 inch because the tape I was using is smaller. But if you have made this tape bigger, maybe use like almost, maybe, I don't know, 1.5 or 2 inches width. Let me see what this is. So maybe I should have increased the width of mine to 2 inches, right? This is 1.5. Maybe I should have used something that is 2 inches width. So that way the tape will be wider and save me a lot of time. Because now I had to do this. This took me a lot of time. So now if you want to do 1.5 spacing, then maybe make your tape at least 2 inches. That way it will be thicker and you can use it to like go through it and it will cover more space. But if you see, mine is very thin because it's 1.5 space here, and this 1.5 would work for 1 inch. The boxes that you're seeing here, I'm going to go back and reduce it now, but I'm just going to follow that line but bring it closer. So now what I did was, so the way it is now, take it to the sewing machine, open it up this way, because I don't want to go first and then sew the tape straight down and then take it and start sewing it. It will be a lot of sewing on top of this and it won't look nice. So what I did is just cut a lot of straps that are just long, but like they're going to be long and still open like this. So what I'm going to do, go to the sewing machine as I'm sewing it. So fold it this side, fold it this side, fold it again, and then put it like this, sew it down, cut it off. Put it on this other one, sew it down, cut it off. Put it on this one, sew it down, cut it off, just like that until I get to the end. And then I go back in again and cross over, just like that. That's how I'm going to sew everything. And once it's done, the excess at the before I get to the last line, whatever is left, I'm going to cut away the piece of paper. You see what I did here? Cut away the piece of paper at the end, and then I took a bigger band that is about almost 3 inches of width. That is what I used to tuck in all the excess edges. Like, you know how when I finished, I had like edges like this at the bottom here. So what I did was just all those edges here, I got this 3 inches band here, folded it like this, and then tucked everything inside like this. But you're going to have to remove the paper. You understand? I'm saying this for the bottom part, but I'm using this as an example. So how I'm trying to explain how I got this end here. You see, I removed the pepper when I got to the end here so that I can have all those frail ends open like this, and then I just use this here to cover it all the way to the end. All this excess is now, I'm still going to remove it, but it will be here until when I've joined it to the top, like to the dress. All this excess is here will go in there, and then I'm going to close it up. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one now. So guys, this is it here. You see, I've joined one side of the sleeve and closed up my seam all the way here. So guys, you're going to leave the pepper on until you're done with everything, even to close up the side. So I just removed this here after I finished it. So all you have to do is take this part of your top like this, the way it is, turn it around, the armhole like this, open it up, and then take this here, sew it together, join it like this on from the point here, join it all the way. Right, once you're done, then you can close up the armhole together and then close up even the sleeve until you've done everything before you now go ahead and start popping out this and removing everything, right? Because you need this pepper here to give you some strength when you're closing up the side seam. So you see the side I've done, you will see my side seam is still inside here. You see, there's still side seam in here, and some of the stitches here I still have to go back in and hold them because they are not that strong. But yours, you might want to like double stitch it so it doesn't get loose. But I feel like my stitches are loose already today. So guys, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead now, join this other side, close up my side, and then all I have to do is just the neckline, which is very easy to do. So guys, like I said, you're going to have to keep the pepper on until you're done with everything. If you look inside here, you'll see my stitches here. So you see when I closed it up. So you have to close up, finish up everything, and then you remove the pepper. You understand? So let me go ahead and join it this way. And another thing is that you'll be wondering what of the stitch here that you used to join the shoulder. It will naturally turn inwards, right? It will naturally turn inside, facing inside of your sleeve. So how you're going to do it, you see my own here, you can't see it, but if I push it out now, you can see it. But that seam that is holding the shoulder and this, if you look at it closely, from this upper part here, you will not see it because it's facing the inside. But how you're going to hold it, in case if you don't want it to shatter, is you can go ahead and top stitch it all the way to the other side, right? That's this seam here, this seam joining the shoulder. You can go ahead and make a stitch on top of it, on top of it like this, all the way to the other side. That way it will permanently stay that way. But just like this is not coming out. But maybe if you move around a lot, maybe it will still come out. But I've not even ironed it, so it depends on you. You can go ahead and top stitch it all the way to the bag. So let me go ahead and finish up mine. So guys, this is what we have at the moment. So you see, I've joined the two sides of the sleeve. So all I have to do now, you see, I've made several videos on how to cut a collar, but this is my easiest way to do it. I just cut a rectangular fabric that is the same width as the neckline. So from one side of the opening here all the way, measure it to the other end here, whatever I have. So I'm going to add 1/2 inch to this end, 1/2 inch to this end. So that's plus extra 1 inch. So let's say you measure from this point to this point and you got 17. You're going to cut width of 18 so that you can use 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch at the other end. And then you're going, the width here is 4, right? That's 4 inches, so that you can use 1/2 inch to close up this part here, and then use 1/2 inch at this end here. So the width here is going to be 3 when I'm done. You understand? So 3 inches is going to be left here. So what I like to do is just go ahead, tuck in 1/2 inch at the end here, tuck in 1/2 inch at the end here, and then I'm going to put one side of this in here, and just like that, I'm going to fold it all the way till I get to the other part. And once I'm done, I'm just going to fold it and I have my collar. So that's how I like to do it. So guys, this is it here. I've gone ahead and added it. So like I said, if you put it up straight, it's just like this. If I fold it into 2, it forms the collar. But there are other ways to do this. You can use the normal method, but this just works perfectly for me. So this is the body of the dress here. You see, I've added my button. I just have to make the button hole on one side. These 2 pockets here, and then all I have to do is just to hem the end of the dress. And then if you look at the sleeve, this is what it looks like here. You see? So if I put my hand through it, you see? You see? So that's basically it. I just have to go ahead and then hold this upper part with a stitch. If you want, you can just tack it down at each point where this basket tape meets here. it will still hold it down enough. If you want, you can just go ahead and give it one straight seam all the way to the other side. And that's basically it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Guys, please like, share and subscribe. Bye.